Time for a business update. Analysts are gearing up for a slowdown in Israel's economy this year. Experts predict a likely budget deficit as military spending and infrastructure development become the priority. Many businesses across the economy have been forced to pause activity as thousands of Israeli reservists are now on active duty. A Bank of Israel report says that if the war stays on Israel's southern front, economic growth will cool this year to an annual rate of 2.3%. The Israeli shekel has also been on a downward trend, declining by 0.2% on Monday, extending its return of losses to an 11th day. Meanwhile, worldwide boycotts against products produced by Israel and companies supporting the government have increased in recent weeks, sparking further concerns for Israel's economic outlook. For more on this, we're joined now by Josh Mahoney in London. He is the chief market analyst for Scope Markets. Thank you for being with us on the program. Now, what are the sectors being impacted in Israel's economy, and how have markets reacted as a result of this conflict?
Hi, thanks for having me on. Yes, I mean, this is something that has really stretched across the Israeli economy thus far. Certainly in terms of demand on a domestic perspective, people aren't necessarily going out to restaurants anymore in the same way as they were before. People were homeschooling, as you alluded to, and a number of people have been called up to the army. So demand certainly will have cooled from that front. In terms of the different sectors that are being impacted, of course, you're going to be looking at insurance because of the damage that has been done, but also tourism and transportation. That's certainly something that is going to significantly take a hit as a result of what's happening at the moment and going forward, as people are obviously concerned about visiting the region. The services sector, also a main one, like I alluded to, restaurants and bars probably going to be significantly lower uptake in terms of their revenues. And of course, their staffing is sort of issues are going to rear ahead with the fact that I was saying that they've got reservists that are now being called up. So people are going to be short staffed as well. In terms of the sort of wider industrial picture, of course, the Israeli economy is very well known to be tech-led, and when it comes to sort of physical tech, then factories and the like are going to struggle as well. So it has been something that is really going to impact across the economy. In terms of the market, well, the sort of headline TA35 index is roughly 12% lower compared to where it was prior to the initial Hamas attacks. The question mark here is how much further is it going to go? Well, it really depends on how the sort of economic data comes out over the coming months and how drawn out this process is. Certainly in terms of confidence within the economy and confidence for people to go out and act as usual, that's likely to be taking a hit for some time yet.
How will worldwide boycotts against Israel impact its economy?
Well, this is a little bit more of a question mark. Of course, there have been some that have been providing lists of companies that they say need to be boycotted. They're not all Israeli companies, quite frankly. A lot of them are sort of big US names or big Asian names, the likes of Siemens, the likes of Puma, HP, SodaStream. They're some of the sort of big names that the Palestinian BDS National Committee, or BNC, have called for people to boycott. Of course, people can take the decision to buy less fruit and veg that comes and is marked as coming from Israel and alike. But it remains to be seen, quite frankly, and it really depends on who their sort of exporters are. When it comes to the UK, we've seen Michael Gove calling for a sort of bill to come through that essentially bans people from boycotting within the public sector Israeli products. So I think it's going to be more on a sort of business by business basis and a person by person basis, and also comes down to how much people are aware of what products come from where. And in this current sort of globalized environment, generally products don't necessarily just come from one country. You might find one part of a product that comes from one country and gets sent on to the next area of manufacturing. So it's a little bit more difficult to gauge exactly how much of an impact that would have on the Israeli exports.